Have you ever felt like you're just not the favorite? Like you're constantly living in someone else's shadow? The story we're exploring today is about a man who felt just that. His name was Jacob, the younger twin, born literally clutching the heel of his older brother, Esau. This is a tale of rivalry, deception, struggle, and ultimately an incredible transformation. We begin in the tent of Isaac and Rebekah. Even before they were born, the twins wrestled in their mother's womb. A divine prophecy was given to Rebekah. 2 nations were inside her, and the older would serve the younger. Years passed. Esau grew into a rugged hunter. His father's favorite, Jacob, was a quieter man, staying close to home, favored by his mother. One day, Esau stumbles in from the field, exhausted and starving. He sees Jacob cooking a fragrant stew of red lentils. "Give me some of that red stew. I'm about to die," he pleads. Jacob, ever the opportunist, sees his chance. He offers the stew, but for a steep price, Esau's birthright. The birthright was a sacred inheritance, a double portion of the family wealth and spiritual leadership. But in his hunger, Esau dismisses its value. "What good is a birthright to me if I'm about to die?" he exclaims, and just like that, for a simple bowl of lentils, Esau sells his future. Jacob makes him swear an oath, and the deal is sealed. This single moment sets the stage for a lifetime of conflict. Fast forward many years. Isaac is now old, his eyesight gone. Believing his time is near, he calls for his favorite son, Esau. He asks him to hunt some game and prepare his favorite savory dish so that he may give him his final, powerful blessing. But Rebekah overhears the plan. Her mind races back to the prophecy. The older shall serve the younger. She decides to take matters into her own hands. She quickly calls for Jacob. A daring plan is hatched. Rebekah prepares a meal herself, using 2 young goats. To complete the deception, she covers Jacob's smooth hands and neck with the goatskins to mimic his hairy brother. Trembling, Jacob approaches his blind father. Isaac is suspicious. "The voice is the voice of Jacob," he murmurs, "but the hands are the hands of Esau." He asks him to come closer. He touches the hairy skins, and his doubts are eased. He eats the meal and bestows upon Jacob the blessing meant for Esau, blessing of prosperity, power, and dominion. Just as Jacob leaves, Esau returns from the hunt. He joyfully prepares the meal and brings it to his father, ready to receive his blessing. The confusion and horror dawn on Isaac as he realizes what has happened. Esau lets out a bitter, heart-wrenching cry. "Do you have only one blessing? My father, bless me too." But the primary blessing has been given and cannot be undone. Esau's grief turns to a burning rage. He vows to kill Jacob as soon as their father is gone. Rebekah, learning of the threat, urges Jacob to flee for his life. "Go to my brother Laban," she says, "and stay there until your brother's anger subsides." And so Jacob, the deceiver, becomes the fugitive, running alone into the wilderness with nothing but the clothes on his back. Alone, afraid, and far from home, Jacob finds a place to rest for the night, using a simple stone as his pillow. That night, under the vast starry sky, he has a profound dream. He sees a magnificent ladder, or perhaps a stairway, stretching from the earth all the way up to heaven. Angels of God are ascending and descending on it, and standing at the top is the Lord himself. God speaks to Jacob, introducing himself as the God of his grandfather Abraham and his father Isaac. He then renews the covenant promises, "The land on which you lie, I will give to you and your offspring," God declares, "and your descendants will be like the dust of the earth. I am with you and will watch over you wherever you go, and I will not leave you until I have done what I have promised you." Jacob awakens, startled and filled with awe. "Surely the Lord is in this place," he whispers, "and I was not aware of it." The stone he slept on is no longer just a rock. It becomes a sacred pillar. He anoints it with oil and names the place Bethel, meaning house of God. The fugitive, who thought he was all alone, has just discovered that God was with him all along. This encounter transforms him with newfound hope and a vow of faithfulness. Jacob continues his journey, no longer just running away from his past, but running towards a promised future. After a long journey, Jacob finally arrives in Haran and finds his uncle Laban. At a well, his eyes meet Rachel, Laban's younger daughter, and he falls instantly in love. To win her hand, he agrees to work for Laban for 7 years. His love is so great that the years feel like only a few days. But on the wedding night, Laban, a deceiver himself, tricks Jacob. He veils the older daughter Leah and gives her to Jacob instead. The next morning, Jacob is furious. But Laban coolly replies, "In our land, it is not our custom to marry off the younger daughter before the older. The deceiver has been deceived." Laban offers a deal. Jacob can also marry Rachel, but only after he works another 7 years. Jacob agrees, and so begins a complex and often painful family life. The two sisters, Leah and Rachel, become rivals. Leah, feeling unloved, is blessed with children first. She gives birth to Reuben, Simeon, Levi, and Judah. Rachel, desperate and jealous, cries out to Jacob, "Give me children, or I shall die." Following the customs of the time, she gives her servant Bilhah to Jacob, who has 2 sons, Dan and Naphtali. Leah then gives her servant Zilpah to Jacob, and she bears Gad and Asher. Finally, God remembers Leah again, and she has 2 more sons, Issachar and Zebulon, and a daughter, Dinah. After many years of waiting, God finally opens Rachel's womb, and she gives birth to Joseph. Through all this, Jacob works for Laban, his wages changing multiple times. But through his own cunning and God's favor, Jacob's flocks multiply, and he becomes very wealthy. After 20 years of labor and deceit, Jacob knows it's time to go home. He gathers his wives, his 11 sons, his daughter, and all his possessions, and flees from Laban, setting his face towards the land of his birth and an uncertain reunion with the brother he wronged. The journey home is filled with dread. Jacob sends messengers ahead to his brother Esau, hoping for peace. But the news they bring back is terrifying. Esau is coming to meet him, and he has 400 men with him. Jacob is convinced his brother is coming for revenge. In panic, he divides his family and flocks into two groups, hoping that if one is attacked, the other might escape. He sends lavish gifts of livestock ahead, wave after wave, to try and appease Esau's anger. That night, on the eve of the dreaded meeting, Jacob sends his family across the Jabbok River and remains behind, alone. In the darkness, a mysterious man appears and begins to wrestle with him. They struggle all through the night. A relentless, powerful battle. As dawn approaches, the man sees he cannot overpower Jacob, so he touches Jacob's hip, dislocating it. But Jacob, though injured, refuses to let go. "I will not let you go unless you bless me," he pants. The man asks, "What is your name?" "Jacob," he replies. Then the man declares, "Your name will no longer be Jacob, but Israel. Because you have struggled with God and with humans and have overcome, the one whose name meant supplanter or deceiver is given a new identity. He who struggles with God." At dawn, Jacob, now renamed Israel, limps away, forever marked by his divine encounter. The next day, he sees Esau and his 400 men approaching. He bows to the ground 7 times, but instead of violence, something miraculous happens. Esau runs to meet him. He throws his arms around his brother's neck, embraces him, and they both weep. The years of bitterness melt away in a moment of pure, unadulterated grace. "My brother," Esau cries. The reconciliation is complete. Jacob, overwhelmed, tells him to see your face is like seeing the face of God. They part ways as brothers, at peace. Jacob, the heel grabber, the deceiver, has wrestled with his past, with his brother, and with God himself, and has emerged, transformed, the father of the 12 tribes of Israel. His story reminds us that our struggles, our mistakes, and even our deepest flaws can become the very places where we encounter the divine and find our truest identity.